He was there all the time, and they were always stressing character, and Andy used to kill.
For decades, The Andy Griffith Show has been a beloved piece of American television, remembered for its wholesome characters and simple, peaceful Mayberry town. But what if we told you that behind all that charm, there were some strange secrets and unexpected mistakes happening right under our noses? Even Ron Howard, who played the beloved Opie, has revealed some shocking things that most fans never noticed. From disappearing characters to funny production blunders, The Andy Griffith Show wasn't as perfect as it seemed. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal what really happened behind the scenes of the show that we all thought was flawless. What's your initial reaction to these hidden truths about Mayberry? Let us know in the comments. When we think of The Andy Griffith Show, we picture a town where life was simple, everyone knew each other, and problems were solved with kind words and a smile. But the truth is, Mayberry was far from perfect. Behind the scenes, the show was carefully crafted with a combination of clever writing, quick fixes, and creative production techniques that helped make it look flawless. For example, the town of Mayberry might seem like a well-established, peaceful place, but in reality, much of the set was made from flimsy materials like plywood and painted flats. A simple gust of wind or a misplaced step could expose the illusion of the perfect town. Some of the sets, though designed to look solid, were actually not as stable as they appeared. But viewers never noticed, because the show was so captivating, they were too caught up in the charm of the story. In many ways, the imperfections behind the scenes added to the magic of the show. It wasn't just about the perfect sets or the actors' performances, it was about creating a world that felt real, even if it was held together by the magic of TV production. And as we look back now, we can see just how much those hidden quirks contributed to the show's lasting charm. As much as The Andy Griffith Show felt like a well-oiled machine, there were plenty of hidden goofs and mistakes that fans never saw at the time. Ron Howard, who played Opie, has mentioned how some of these quirks were just part of the reality of making a show on a tight schedule and budget. One of the most famous examples is when Ron's real-life father, Rance Howard, appeared in an episode and in the middle of a scene, his character just disappeared. Viewers were left scratching their heads, wondering what happened to him. The truth? Rance was suddenly called away for a personal emergency, and there was no time to reshoot the scene, so they just kept rolling without him. But that wasn't the only goof. Fans might have missed things like the flimsy window that was supposed to shatter but instead flapped in the breeze, or the wooden block used to hold up Barney's sidecar during a dramatic scene. These little mistakes didn't take away from the show's charm though, they just added a human touch to the production. Viewers back then were so focused on the characters and the heartwarming stories that they overlooked these minor details. Even more noticeable were the human blunders, like when Goober's lips didn't move while he was speaking, or when a stunt double was clearly visible with a hat on during a driving scene. These were small mistakes, but they didn't hurt the show. Instead, they made it feel more authentic. The fans who caught these moments became part of the fun, spotting these behind-the-scenes quirks and feeling like they were in on the secret. What many fans didn't realize about The Andy Griffith Show was how much the Howard family played a role behind the scenes. Ron Howard wasn't just a young actor, he was growing up on set, surrounded by his father, Rance Howard, who made several appearances in small but important roles. While Rance wasn't a regular on the show, his presence on set had a huge impact on Ron. It wasn't just about having family around, it was about learning from his father's experience in the industry. Ron's father wasn't just there for support, he was also a guide and a mentor. During filming, Ron was absorbing more than just his lines. He was watching his father's professionalism, his approach to acting, and how he worked with the rest of the cast and crew. This wasn't just fatherly advice, it was hands-on experience, giving Ron a deep respect for the craft of storytelling. In fact, it was during these years that Ron learned some of the most important lessons about acting and collaboration, lessons that would go on to shape his successful career as a director. Their bond was more than just a family connection, it was the foundation of Ron's future in the entertainment industry. Rance was always there, not to steal the spotlight but to quietly set an example of how to approach work with focus, dedication, and humility. Ron often credits these early experiences for instilling in him the values he would carry throughout his career, both as an actor and later as a director. One of the most significant changes on The Andy Griffith Show came with the departure of Don Knotts, who played the iconic character of Barney Fife. His departure wasn't just a creative loss for the show, it was a deeply emotional moment for everyone involved. On screen, Barney and Sheriff Andy Taylor shared such a natural, effortless chemistry that it was hard to imagine the show without him. But off-screen, the bond between Andy Griffith and Don Knotts was just as strong. They were close friends, and their relationship shaped the heart of the show. When Don left after the 5th season, it left a void that couldn't be easily filled. The chemistry between Andy and Barney was part of what made the show so special, and without Don's presence, the dynamic changed. Andy Griffith himself admitted that it just wasn't the same working without Don. They had such a unique rhythm together, and without him, the show felt like it lost a piece of its magic. It wasn't just about the laughs. There was a genuine bond between the characters and the actors that made the Andy Griffith Show feel so real. The show tried to carry on without Don, but it was clear that something was missing. Fans could feel the change, and even the writers struggled to replicate the same energy that Barney and Andy had. While the show continued to be successful, it was never quite the same after Don Knotts' departure, and the spirit of Mayberry was forever altered. As we look back on the Andy Griffith Show, we see more than just a classic sitcom. We uncover the hidden stories, the secrets, and the behind-the-scenes moments that made the show what it was. The production blunders, the family ties, and the emotional departures are all part of the story that most fans never saw. But these imperfections, these behind-the-scenes moments, are what made Mayberry feel real. It wasn't just about the characters on screen, it was about the people behind the scenes, working together to create something special. Ron Howard, Don Knotts, and Andy Griffith left a legacy that's much more than just the show itself. It's about the relationships, the challenges, and the lessons learned along the way. Their time in Mayberry shaped not only their careers but also their personal lives. The show may have been fictional, but the bond between the cast and crew was real, and that's what made it timeless. Do you remember the first time you watched The Andy Griffith Show? Share your favorite moments or hidden details you never noticed before in the comments.